Welcome everyone to another game, and in this game we have Chris. This is Fogel. Here is Chris playing as the Franks, and this is Chris, the legend Chris, who played back in the day. A dominant force a decade and a half ago is back in the game playing. Unfortunately, he's got a real life, got responsibilities, doesn't have time to commit full time. Nonetheless, it's something like a 2K3 player here up against KingstoNe. If you don't know who KingstoNe is, maybe you know who USB is. I didn't actually realize these were the same players. I know I've heard it before, but more recently I've heard KingstoNe. Before heard a little more of USB. So Kingston versus Chris here, and a little bit of whatever going on there. And this is Franks against Burmese on Arabia. So Franks definitely an advantage there for Chris, but Burmese, they do have terrific monks, so we might be seeing a little bit of that kind of action here. Both players heading out to wood, and we'll probably see fairly defensive approaches as these players are pretty far away from each other. Chris playing here in the left-hand side of the map, and Kingston in the right. There is, for Chris, a nice wood line on the front of his base. However, there's also a hill. His berries also are forward. His gold should be easily protected. Berries, not so much. On the other side, we have Kingston. It's got a nicely protected gold as well, but also a nicely protected berries. On the flip side, the front of his base is wide open space. So he's got a way to protect his resources, but his base is wide open. Both players, yeah, you can see the small walls already being planned out here for Chris, as he's probably going to do some Dark Age stuff. Maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, he's already got this measured up. Now, that does leave the bears exposed, so he's going to want to be the one putting on the pressure. And Kingston, yep, realizes this villager, 25 HP. You got to get those walls in. Got to get those walls in place. And we're going to get a phone call here in just a second. But we'll disregard that when it happens. Both players, very similar things. Absolutely no idle town center time from each player. Players at 15 villagers. Although Kingston is definitely taking a little bit more. Well, they're both doing about the same thing here. It looks like not really seeing any differences in the play. Their player here, and I'm beginning to appreciate Empire Wars and immediate action that it gives, and also some of these other modes with their 9-ville Dark Age starts. Very cool. These give you time for talking points, things like that. I don't have that many talking points. I'm new, don't know what I'm doing, you know. Well, we'll see though. Now Kingston has managed to hold on to an awful lot of those turkeys, and well, Chris, he's just about used up all his turkeys. So however, Chris is just now pushing in his deer. Kingston has already done that. Interesting strategies there. A lumber camp being placed on the right hand side, so 2 lumber camps. This looks interesting. I was expecting scouts. You don't generally go 2 lumber camps into scouts, though, from what I know. So we'll see. Although wood is going to be pretty dire. 2 lumber camps for Kingston as well. So pretty identical plays here. Both players going up on 20 population. Kingston had it measured, had the game plan done. Went up 20 population, housed. Chris went ahead and built that spare house. Both players, they're mirroring each other so closely, dropping the barracks within seconds of each other. 1 second apart on the way up to the next age. 0 seconds idle TC time. 90+% worker efficiency. Just remarkably similar gameplay here. Chris with a little higher score has to do with, you know, scouting and things like that at the moment, as he's only pushed in 1 deer, whereas Kingston pushed in, I think, 4 or 3. Pushed in all 3. No, these villagers just, you know, getting confused, and nobody going to build this house. To the feudal age, both of them. And stable. Now, a difference has shown up. Chris has gone for double bit axe, whereas Kingston has gone for horse collar. So a little bit of a difference between the players. Spearman out for each player, and scouts coming out for both players now. Such identical gameplays. Now, love to see this in this house. Okay, Chris did notice. He is working on walling his way up to this front wood line, whereas Kingston doesn't have that luxury. He has walled himself around to the TC, but walling to the town center doesn't work the same way in against scouts, because scouts can just run right through. However, it does narrow it down, obviously, and they get fired upon. Just you don't feel quite so safe when you're up against scouts. I've made that mistake before and gotten crushed. Yep, and like I said, Kingston, he is gonna wall to the TC first and then finish up the walls next. And walled. Yep, Kingston pretty much fully walled. Chris not too far behind, but a little bit behind. The military just in favor of Kingston. He got that scout production out just a bit sooner, but really it's actually the spears make the difference. 3 scouts for each, but 3 spearmen and a 4th on the way for Kingston, with Chris only having 1, and Chris is going to lose a villager. This is not what you need. I think this villager goes down. Indeed, she dies for the cause, and the scouts run away. All 3 scouts surviving, but barely. But here come the spearmen, and that is too many spearmen for Chris to deal with. Gonna notice, back away. And a big fight's gonna be taken. Immediate spearmen gonna be added for Chris. I love how I called that out before it happened. I'm getting better, guys. And Chris forced to abandon his berries, forced to quick wall in the woodlines. This is not what you want to see if you are Chris. And does not get this wall down. Would have loved to see a wall there. Doesn't go for that, but quick walls in the woodline with the quick walls. Chris saving himself completely, not losing anything. Spearman over by the woodline. So Chris with 3 scouts in his base and 4 spearmen able to defend himself for now. Creating more and more spearmen so that the numbers are about even. But once the scouts are out of the picture, the villagers can fight off the spearmen, no problem. And Chris, he is forward with his scouts, trying to find some damage, not able to do so as Kingston completely walled up. Kingston is a player who's been making waves in tournaments recently. He is in Titans League. In Titans League, I think he moved up to Platinum. If I remember right, this guy is a Platinum player in the next season of Titans League and making waves. So you need to watch out for this guy. Kingston is a force to be reckoned with, but so is Chris. The KD is 2-2, but 1 of those is a villager for Chris, and 0 villagers have gone down for Kingston. So I would give the ever so slight, tiniest of advantages to Kingston, but the big advantage for Kingston up here, he's got 300 more food almost than Chris, and that's a big deal. That equals a faster castle time. This mess in his base has caused Chris to be a little less perfect with the eco. You can see that Chris's worker efficiency last minute just barely below, but it's really the farming numbers. If you look here, we have 15 farms, and I think we might see another villager going down. No, he gets away. Got 15 farms, and on the other side, we only have 13, so that's interesting. Yeah, I guess I could have seen 17, 13 up at the top. But Kingston gonna be clicking up to the castle age any second now. Let's get back and see what's going on at the base. And nothing. You know, continuing, has a full-on army in his base, ignoring it. Doesn't have a military that can challenge it, but it's not a military that can cause any real damage. But Kingston on the way to the castle age. Chris not far away. Chris is going to be probably 30 to 45 seconds behind to the next age, and that is a difference you don't want to have. Now, where are the weak villagers? That's my question. Okay, I'm not really seeing the weak villagers, so there's not any? Wow. Well done. Yeah, so about 45 seconds behind to the castle age is Chris. Chris is on the way, and he probably knows exactly the situation he's in. He's gonna need, he's got 2 stables down already. Our Burmese player only has 1. And I'm gonna guess it's just gonna be knights for each player with the way the game is sizing up. It's gonna be knights and monks for each player, is my guess. And then we'll see where it goes from there. So to be getting a phone call. There it is. We are I'm gonna send this guy a message real quick. I hear pinging. Ah, there's a scout. Okay, so town center dropped immediately, so expanding out, securing himself this wood line and the stone, also securing this part of the space. So 3 town centers immediately for Kingston, and wheelbarrow and heavy plow, so eco approach. Very eco-heavy approach from Kingston. So Kingston looking at this, playing the long game. Chris in the castle age, getting bow saw. Is it going to be the eco approach as well? There's 1 town center. There's a second. Indeed, it is eco from both players. Now, I got a buddy waiting on me to play, so hopefully these guys don't take too terribly long, because I want to play, get my own game in. But also, committed. All right, we're watching this video. We're watching these players. And I like to watch Chris play. Sometimes he pulls out something unique. I've got some other videos of him doing some things that I didn't expect, didn't see coming. Old school strats, lots of trash, tower rushes, weird stuff. Causing people to resign in the dark age. Alright, so, yeah, it's a little unique. Feudal age maybe. Yep, immediate monastery. So, it's not going to be knights at all. It's just going to be monk defense. From Kingston, no knights at all. Monk defense, and boom. And these knights run into an awful lot of Burmese spearmen, which have extra attack. Now, if you notice, they have 3+2 attack, but if you notice up here, no forging. They've got 2 bonus deck. They're in the castle age. That bonus attack doesn't do a whole lot against knights, because their damage there is not their damage value, it's more their bonus damage. And it looks like we're going to be seeing the same thing, monastery defense, and boom. So what's the situation on villagers? Kingston at the moment, 5 villagers ahead. Just a little bit cleaner and faster because his feudal age military got into the base of Chris. Everything else was just about identical. So since this is looking to be a long game, since it's looking to shape up, we're going to 2 times speed this through this boom section and get into a later stage of the game. And that's bad by Chris. Loses a knight and his scout cavalry trying to take out the monk. So bad play there. It's alright though. He's got more knights on the way. The military's 9 to 9 or so. Actually 15 to 11. So it's knights and light cav in for Chris, and he takes the fight, takes out the monk, takes out the spearman. Chris, he's not messing around, wants this game to go a little more quickly. Also, he was housed, so he figured he might as well. Panic dropping houses, I do this all the time. This is one of the bigger problems in my game. It's going to be Arambi, so we're going to get to see Arambi again, because we're seeing a 4th town center and a castle. Chris now with a massive KD lead, but 10 villagers behind, so that idle TC time cranking up on Chris. The monks getting sniped off by the light cav, but here come the Arambi. Now, you can see these dart throwing boys, a little suspect until there's a nice mass of them. 4th town center as well, and the monk goes down. I thought there would be a conversion there, but there was not. 2nd castle for Kingston, so we get to see Arambi in their full power. And slow down, see the fight. See if the monk... Ooh, they snipe off the monk. And run on through. Okay. Back to 2 times speed. Chris, he realizes what's happening. Coming out to drop an outpost to see a little more of what's happening. He did go ahead and get the vision upgrade because there was that time period where he wasn't creating anything. But Chris gonna also be dropping castles of his own, and now on 5 TCs also. So it's gonna be 5 town centers against 4 as Chris tries to catch up on the boom, and I think he'll be able to do so. He's almost 20 villagers behind, but he's going to be focusing very heavily on the boom. And the cheap Frankish castles are really going to come into play. Building a castle on the hill on the left side. However, Arambi are running right on into his base, and I think we're at lifetime. So this is going to be awkward for Chris. 6 town center, that's why I thought he could catch up. I thought he might go pretty heavy on this, and indeed he is. 6 town centers. And we're going to go ahead and just play this 8 times speed. Means normal speed. He gets an Arambi conversion, but that's a big army of Arambi. 19 Arambi, 120 villagers. The castle's up. Ooh, did you hear that? The liminal, the little throwback sound. I love that little Easter egg that's in the game. Another Arambi converted, and the monk. Oh, I thought the monk got away, but he didn't. The old man almost got away, but running up the hill was a little much for him. Kingston on the way to the Imperial Age, dropping a forward castle. Gonna be looking at taking out Chris. Chris not even close. I think the writing is on the wall, Chris. 2 minutes, 45 seconds. See if Chris can make anything happen. It's just a little behind, just a tiny bit behind. 6 town centers. And throwing axemen? I don't know how throwing axemen do here. Chris probably gonna be wanting okay, castle on the right hand side now, one on the left forward, one on the right pretty far back. But these Arambi are kind of in the middle of his base. I don't know. This is an interesting play by Chris. Throwing axemen versus Arambi doesn't feel the best. It really doesn't. Actually, I really don't think I like it. They don't have as much range, and when they bunch up and Arambi fire, Arambi are deadly against groups of units. Now, this is a bad fight by Kingston, I think. I mean, he's taking the KD lead in the middle of it. Tell me it's a bad fight. Okay, look at all these blue bodies. Definitely not a bad fight. And 40 seconds until M4 Kingston. And Chris still pretty heavily invested in Castle Age, making throwing axemen, and I think throwing axemen don't stand a chance here. I think they just die. I really do. Outpost coming in. Gonna be showing off that relic. Will allow Kingston to get another one. 3 castles. And what does Chris respond to? He's almost up to imp himself. Almost ready to click his way up. He clicks his way up. He's going to continue playing. We'll see. And this is just, see, he doesn't want to play the knights because the knights can't ever catch the Arambi, whereas the throwing axemen can. But I really don't think the throwing axemen are the play. Trebuchet is out, and he should immediately start using that because it's not trickle trebbing because you're under your own castle. Trickle trebbing only applies when you're not under your own castle. When you're under your own castle, it's not trickle trebbing. And also, 3 trebuchets, elite Arambi, and conscription coming out. So it's gonna be a pretty tasty army for these dart thrower boys. I think he has his upgrades because he has his stable armor upgrades. Let's see. He could use his armor upgrades for sure, actually. I think they get archer armor, but I'm not sure. 2 more castles being added by Chris. I would love to see this one here instead. Like, this one feels weird. You know what I'm saying? This one, I'm not sure I like this. And Arambi, do they wreck buildings? Oh man, they still wreck buildings. Look at this. Look at this. This is nuts. And one on the way out. One more on the way. Oh, they're just going to take the fight. Clean up the enemy army while they're at it. And she... Arambi... pretty solid. Castle's down. I think Chris is just dead. I don't see him coming back from this. And yeah, Chris calls the GG. Alright, well, let's take a look at the statistics. The Arambi are so stinking strong. I love to see a unit that is underwhelming, underused, get some love, and prove that it is something that can be used. Look at this KD, 1.87 to 5.5. 71 to 38, by the way. And conversions, their economy, better for Kingston. It's just these tiny advantages. Like I said at the beginning, they were mirroring each other through the Dark Age. 915 each. In the Feudal Age, they mirrored each other as well, but Kingston made extra spearmen, was able to get into Chris's base, got this 40-second difference here, and turned that into a 3-minute difference here. Turned that into the game. And just very similar games, just these little details. I hope you enjoyed this one. Kingston showing us how to just take the small advantages, turn them into big advantages, win the game. Well, if you enjoyed, drop a like on the video. If you want to see more, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.